Morning, boys. Happy Mate Monday. This past weekend, I had an opportunity to go to Medicine Hat. This time of year is filled with wrestling for me. And in the morning at the high school, they ran a clinic for the kids and then the competition in the afternoon. There was a coach that was there from Elrose, Saskatchewan. And I just loved the session that he put on. I could have listened to him all day. He showed some valuable technique, but it was his philosophy around coaching, around wrestling, around youth development that it just resonated with me. And at one point, he watched one of our wrestlers win a match in about 20 seconds. And so this is a kid who just started this year, but is very athletic, very natural. In fact, it's kind of a waste that he's never wrestled before, because I think he could have been incredibly good. Shoots a strong double leg takedown, takes the kid down to the mat, finds his half Nelson, flips him on his back, and pins him. I was excited, and comes over and beaming, with the success. And a couple of his matches that day had kind of followed that same pattern. So this coach afterwards said, "Hey, it's not my place, but can I give you some advice?" And I said, "Yeah, happy to receive it." He said, "That boy traveled all the way here, a couple hours in the car, for 20 seconds on the mat here, 30 seconds on the mat there. If I was his coach, I would encourage him to try moves that are lower down on his list of proficiency, things that he's not great at. Obviously, he's got a good double leg takedown. Obviously, he knows how to pin from that position." And I couldn't have agreed more and said that to him. I said, in fact, if you have any advice for me, Coach, how do you help a first-year wrestler develop that perspective that it's all about long-term development as opposed to just in the wins in that moment, which can be difficult for a kid. And so we talked about that, and he was surprised actually that this was this kid's first year, and recognized that maybe he needs to get some confidence and some wins under his belt to even have that view of the next level. But I was thinking a lot about that, this idea of intentionally putting ourselves in positions of discomfort, things that we're not as well acquainted with the goal of development. That if we always stay in the same groove of that which we're proficient at, good at, how do we develop? And for the last few years, I've kind of tried to force myself into situations that were less comfortable. I took up hockey at Dan's urging a few years ago and was terrible at it. Would go to shinny at the Raymond Ice Rink and with some of the homeschool kids after school, and was terrible. And the development was actually slow. A couple of years of that, never did become very proficient. But it was such a good experience to try something new. I've tried sometimes, when teaching someone squash, to play a game with my left hand, my non-dominant hand, just put myself in their position, and again, to feel what it's like to learn from the very beginning. And as I thought more about that, again, I'm always looking for the gospel analogy, or how we can find the Savior in all this. And what I realize is that Jesus Christ, maybe part of his power, his majesty, his might, comes from the fact that he condescended below all things, that he was willing to take upon himself the pain of all men, and to suffer experiences that would break any one of us. And by willfully subjecting himself to the dregs of that bitter cup, he overcame all things and is the champion. He wins. He conquered death. He conquered sin. He has felt every pain. He's achieved it all. And so then he invites us on a similar path. I guess the last thing I'll suggest is that it kind of reminds me of the parable of the talents a little bit, that this wrestler who instinctively went to the moves that he was most comfortable with and knew he could win with is kind of like taking that talent and hiding it, not risking anything. And as I remember the story, those that had taken their talents, put them to work, had turned 10 into another 10, or 5 into another 5. that's what was of value in the eyes of the master. And so it's my invitation to us to continue to step into the zone of discomfort and change, try new things, and to also be willing to subject ourselves to some of the hardship that comes with serving those that are obnoxious and annoying, and sticking with Christ-like endeavors that don't seem to be high yield or high return in the moment. I think that we become more like the Savior as we're willing to descend a bit from the things that we're most comfortable with in life, and reach out to those who are sick, who are afflicted, who are hungry, who are poor, who are thirsty. Join them in their struggles, and all be made whole together. And that's my thought on this Monday. Happy Monday. Hard day for me, boys. I'm sending my son off on his mission today. I can hardly even think about it. He's the son right here. I'm so proud of him, and man, it is tender feelings today. So keep me in your prayers. We'll see him again 2 years from now, but strange. I guess it's that very thing. It'd be easy to just hold on to kids forever, but thank goodness he's been willing to do hard things throughout his life, and is well prepared for this experience.